Hello, all, and I hope you're all doing well. Uh, and I welcome everybody to what's we haven't done any of these videos or done something like this in a while, actually. But thought it'd be nice to kind of catch up. Me do some because I've got quite a lot of announcements to say, catch up and things like that. And that's why I want to do a video like this, and I kind of want you guys to take something from this video and listen to because you'll probably see, I'm going to be like bringing back more my face in the videos again and things like that, and you'll see why in a minute as I explain the plans coming forward uh, of what's going to happen basically. So yeah, but I hope everybody's okay. The first announcement I'm going to get into is and this is more of an announcement for Blackburn drivers. Well, for the Blackburn drivers, why have I not? Why have you not seen me watch at Blackburn or spent more time? Like I said, well, it's hard to say, but I did a couple of tons, like a couple of times travelling around on 464 side, and I've already done occasionally Blackburn side, but to be honest, I'm sure you 464 and Blackburn drivers would understand. For anyone that's watching this video, it's not really for me, to be honest. Like, I think Blackburn side wouldn't be too. It's just too busy. The area's just too busy, overcrowded, and I don't mind going there to like do a 481 and then back out and that. I'm absolutely fine doing that. But the actual side, like doing the locals and things like that, not for me. And then with the 464, I don't know how some people actually manage it and say it's all right, but for me, I'm not really keen on the side. Like, it's one route, and once you do the route so many times, I think it just gets kind of repetitive over and over and over again, basically. Like, don't get me wrong, there is some good drives on 464 side that I actually do know, but it's just the route, it just gets repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. It's like, it's the bus, it's not even just that, it's the bus vehicles as well. Like, I'm going to say really one thing that I really don't like. I don't really like the Versas. Like, I can handle them, and I need them to get me to like to college anyway and things like that. But really not for me. The Versas, I think they're just very slow. They always break down and things like. Don't get me wrong, buses do break down from time to time as it is, but it's just not for me. I'm not saying it's constant or whatever, or I'm moaning about them or anything like that. But the side's just not for me. That's all I'm just gonna put. So, and as you guys know, you'd normally see me on the Eurolines. Well, I am going to continue for now, spending the majority of my time on the Euroline side, because I think the Euroline has more scenery and things like that. There's more to do over there. Like, you've got the schools and the sevens and eights as well on that side and things like that. So there's more to do. And sometimes we've got a lot of Overline drivers I know that are trying for transfer and are spending more time at Burnley to do some route learning up at a minute. And I'm going over to Burnley quite a lot myself and they're giving me like a tour around the routes and things like that. So I get used to them and I get to know them and things like that, because apparently I've been told that come December, it's going to be Transdev have made that decision apparently, maybe to I'm not going to get into too much detail about it in case it is a rumour, but I am going to say what I've heard a little bit. It's to be apparent that Rosso's meant to be going or closing down at some point, or they're having it as a brand, basically, and having the companies to be taken over by Burnley and Blackburn buses, which are part of Transdev as well. But I'm not getting into too much detail about it, because nobody really actually knows what's actually going to happen come December. But it's December's the mark for all the changes to happen or whatever. For whatever happens, I do know there will be some changes. That I can see it, because at the end of the day, Rosso is kind of just getting a bit too small as a company now. I don't think Transdev are kind of making the funding or the money for what they want. It's like they put bids in before when they started, and then they've kind of lost them at the other end of it. Like, they don't like I say, they used to have the Rochdale base. Now, I I've only been travelling on. Now, I've actually been a Rosso enthusiast now, especially on the Amura line side, for probably about, since I was 12. I've grew up being a Rosso enthusiast since I was about 12 now, which you can imagine is remarkable. But I've actually only been travelling on buses now for probably just over a year. And that was at the same. I started travelling around at the same time at the Rochdale base in Rosso Rochdale base, and that started to get took over by the B network, etc., which was a pretty much shame because I would have liked to have done some of them routes, and travelled around, and I don't fancy travelling around with B network, so Transdev's probably just more for me at the minute. So it is a shame, and it's a shame I couldn't meet some of the ex-Russell drivers that were at B network. It would have been nice, I can imagine them being, like I said, I've heard they were very good people, but like I say, sometimes you can't get the opportunity you want, and sometimes you can try, but it doesn't always happen. Then, not even just that, we had some we had 3 Lottenstow locals as well, which went to Vision Bus in October, which was a shame because I remember I did the locals quite a lot to start with, riding around on the locals, 10s, 11s, and 12s in Rottenstow. So it was really a big shame to see them go, but I can't understand why they went to Vision at the end of it, because at the end of the day, there has been a bit of a teething problem going around and a bit of money struggles going on with the Russell side of Transdev at the minute, and probably a bit of Burnley and Blackburn as well, as Vision seem to be ones taking all the contracts at the minute. I don't know what B Network are doing these days. I don't really pay much attention to B Network, but Vision definitely seems to be getting bigger. I was saying to a few people, although I think it's good what Vision are doing. They do seem a good bunch, actually, but it's the fact that the more I've heard Vision seem to be quite desperate for drivers as well at the minute and things like that. And I think to myself, if an operator is real short on drivers, why take on the more contracts when it's not worth it? If you can't run the service and you haven't got the drives for it, then it might as well be a case of Transdev like getting them back and things like that, because it's at the end of the day, if you haven't got the drivers to do them, then it's like you're going to lose that contract anyway. You need enough drivers to make sure you've got the drivers to do for the routes and things like that. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're very short on drivers. Anyways, at the moment, Mo, what I'm doing is like I say, I'm doing my last bits because in case Rosso does go in December. However, I do want to spend a lot of time at Rosso, just more time at Rosso, and just enjoy the last of it before, because when you get something that you've got the opportunity to do it, you might as well do it, because once that opportunity is gone, it's gone. There's no going back. So you might as well make the most of it, which is I'm doing with Rosso, in case it does end up going in December. Well, mind you, yet again said that it could just very well just end up being a brand for Burnley and Blackburn companies, because Rosso's already merged with Burnley and Blackburn right now because of the depots they come out of. They used to apparently have a Haslenden depot, their own depot in Haslenden, and also their own in Rochdale, of course, when they had the Rochdale base. But apparently, a driver told me that they'd shut the Rochdale, the Haslenden depots down because they weren't making the money for it to keep it going and things. So it went into another little business or whatever. Same. That's what the same happened with Rochdale Depot, and that's why I think they lost the contract to send it over to B Network. So yeah, and like I say, I'm still happy to occasionally do the odd Burnley. Like I say, I'm at Burnley quite a lot at the minute anyway, because I've quite enjoyed travelling on. I like the main lines and things like that, and locals. And building my confidence up quite a bit actually as well, which is helping. It's helping with confidence because it means I'm travelling further. It means I'm getting to more places and things like that. So that's pretty good actually, if you think about it. So yeah, I doubt I'll do much on Blackburn side, to be honest. I very doubt that. More likely to be Burnley I do in future. like I say, I apologise for because I did say to the Blackburn drivers, I said I was going to spend more time. Unfortunately, I think I've already told majority of you, and thankfully, the majority of the Blackburn drivers were quite understanding, which was pretty good. I'm going to show you something I actually did get. I used to get that I wanted to show you for age, meaning to show you for ages. So I used to get a collection of buses when I was just a little bit younger, and I'd get something like this. But you see, it had a lot of scratches, and everything like that. So I'm going to do another video coming forward, and basically I'm hoping to all my buses I've got collections of, and I'm hoping to get more collections coming in time. So I'm more interested in trying to get more collections in painting these into like the Transdev livery, e.g. like Burnley Bus Company, maybe some Rosso branding even, and Blackburn Bus Company. Yeah, I've already put a fleet on which I've written like a list basically of a fleet where which bus is going to get coloured into and things like that. And fairly enough, this one I do know what this one's going to. I'm planning on painting this one into an aperture for Burnley's 244 YJ17FWF. That's what I'm going to be painting this one into. It probably won't have any Burnley livery. This is more likely to be in Transdev logo colour, like the grey and the darker grey that they have on some buses. So I look forward to showing you guys once they're completed. Some content changes I want to discuss. So I'm returning back to posting daily because I think I've noticed that when I've started doing these weekly videos, the videos weren't as good quality. So I'm bringing more short daily videos again of buses. Like I said, like I'm doing on TikTok now, because I've got a TikTok account for it, where I post daily, and then putting like more, and they'll be better edited. They'll have more edits on them, things like that, which should be pretty good. I'm returning back because I haven't done that in over a year. And I want to boost my confidence so you'll probably see more of my face around on longer videos, which will be pretty good. Because I've decided to try and step out my comfort zone and have the confidence to put my face in and like do a day in the life of being a bus Transdev enthusiast, etc. Try and just do some different stuff for my content, but it's still bus related for the channel, but also do like a day in the life, like showing you what bus I'm going to be on each day and things like that, and just recording the day of my life basically. Finally, the next announcement is I'm going to speak about some stuff going on in the enthusiast chat because as you probably notice, I'm on Facebook and part of a Transdev community enthusiast on Facebook. Well, normally I've stopped posting and I only do the occasional, well, barely at all now. I've even stopped doing it basically. But now, thankfully, it doesn't really get me. I just tend to ignore people if they do that. But I'm just sending this as as some advice to people. On one sec, just bear with me a sec. Sorry, but I had an itch in my ear. So yeah. Now, this doesn't normally bother me, and I just tend to ignore it and just not let it bother me day. But I want to talk about some disgusting comments on the enthusiast chat and on social media. Unfortunately, social media has an intensity to be quite disruptive, for behaviour and comments and things like that. So when I did post one or two, I am going to admit I got some quite hateful and some quite nasty comments, I'd say, occasionally. Don't get me wrong, I made a few mistakes, yeah. But mistakes do happen sometimes. People, nobody's perfect in the world. People are going to make mistakes in life. It's how life works. But it's about the way you say it afterwards, and it's about the way you comment on your words. Like, my advice is that I'll just tend to ignore them, and I just tend to either block them or report it, or I'll just ignore it. I'm more likely to ignore it than genuine, not respond anything back. I've only ever responded back to anything that's been illegal or whatever, and just said, look, look, you can't be commenting like this, and I'm gonna delete your comment and just move it out the way and things like that, and have you report to the admin and things like that, because nobody should be trying to stop you from doing something that you enjoy doing and things like that, etc. What's the other one? Now, like I say, as I said, I pretty much ignore the majority of the time if someone just trying to bother me. I just don't let it bother me day. But you do realise that some people there is a lot of people on that community chat, and it is like that on social. There is loads of people now on social media, but I am going to say it's it's a lot. Some people do take it in more, and some people can be a lot more sensitive to it. And if you're commenting things like that as advice, just if you think it's going to be bad, just don't say it. It's don't say it at all, because you don't want some people are more likely to get the reaction than others are. Some people are all right for ignoring it and things like that, but some people do get properly upset, and it can be quite bad, and everything like that. Like, I've seen some footage and things like that, and it's just not okay. Even if someone is really good, it's not okay to be doing comments like that, and saying, "Look, I hate you," or swearing or blibbering and things like that, or trying to just be genuinely mean to be harmful to someone. It's not okay. It's not okay to be commenting things like that, and like I say, it can really hurt someone. It can even damage someone's mental health and things like that. And it's I'm sorry to, and I know a few people on there have had it in the past, and I feel very sorry for them people who have had to feel like that. But it's like I say, it's just not okay. It's not okay to be commenting things like that, and like I say, I've had plenty of it, and it's not a nice feeling. But if you can ignore it and just not let it ruin your day, it's you're good then, and because you shouldn't let anything like that affect you. Like I say, I definitely don't. Like I say, with the enthusiast chat, I just stop posting anyway. I just tend to mainly look at other people's photos now, like give a like, or I might give an occasional comment, and that's all I do now. Pretty much. I don't even post on there anymore, but still, it's just be mindful what you're commenting on, etc. Yeah, same applies even for comments on YouTube and things like that as well. Be mindful of what you say, because, like I say, unfortunately, social media does have a habit of being a bit like that from time to time, and yeah. Like I say, I know a few people on the enthusiast chat as well. Like, a few drivers, a few other people, a few of my friends and things like that, and they always check on me to make sure I'm okay if I ever get a hate or whatever, etc., which is pretty nice. Like I say, I know for bus driver wise, like I say, 464 drivers are good as well. But like I say, I'm pretty close with the Euroline drivers, and they know what I'm like, and they know my feelings, and they know my expects of mental health and learning difficulties I have at the end of the day. And they have really big understanding. Mind you, the thing is, I think the Euroline drivers are probably normally longer than the 464 ones as well, which makes sense. The airline drivers got to know me quite well, quite quick actually, fairly enough. And they've always been pretty lovely people ever since. Like I say, it's nice to see more of them doing more things over at Burnley, and it's made Burnley a lot of better place, because I wasn't keen on going to Burnley at one point, but Burnley seems to be improving and getting a lot better now, so it's building my confidence up quite a lot. And getting other places and sticking with people. Well, don't get me wrong, you are going to get miserable and not the best of people around sometimes. It happens any place, but I think Burnley's just improved genuinely as a bus company, compared to when I started travelling, etc. Like, before, I would just stick onto Eurolines, but okay, it's nice to see me just getting out to more places. Right, I think that's everything I've got to say. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you look forward to the some of the new videos that will be coming out over these next coming weeks. Yeah, thank you for your support. See you in a bit. Bye bye.